is everybody feeling? Woo! Are you feeling well? Are you feeling really well? Do you want to be well? Yes. Well, great news for you. We are about to have a sensational conversation dealing with all things wellness, Black women's wellness, because we know beauty really starts from within, inside out. Health is wealth. We know all these things, right? Yes. And we have a panel of really fantastic women who are going to get into all these things, from gynecology, all sorts of things. There'll be opportunities for your questions. It's going to be amazing. So please, can you give a very warm welcome to the stage for our moderator for this fantastic panel, the extremely fit and well and juicy Nana Acheampong. Ow. Fun fact about Nana, whatever time I wake up, she'll have done like a run, juiced, made some granola, and like maybe saved a child before 6 a.m. She's fit as a fiddle and fab with it.
Thank you for that intro.
Big up, enjoy.
Hello, ladies. Welcome to the Wellness Panel. I am going to introduce our lovely panel, and then we are going to get straight into it. First up, we have the lovely Karen Williams. Give her a round of applause. Yeah. I love this yellow outfit. Fab, fab. Welcome. Next up, we have Stephanie Yeboah. Yeah. Boom. Let's keep it going. Next up, Dr. Ya Amena. Come on. And then we have Karen Cummings Palmer. Yeah. Adeola, Karaole, come in. And last but not least, Tobi, Asare. Love this. Welcome, ladies. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
On. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's mic on. We all good? Mic check.
Yes.
1, 2,
Yeah.
1, 2.
Hello.
1, 2.
Hello. Hello.
Fantastic. Right, let's get into the wellness chat, ladies. I would like to know from each of you, wellness obviously means so many different things depending on who you ask. For you, I want to know what it feels and looks like in your life right now. And also, how has that definition evolved over time? Karen, I'm going to go with you first of all.
Well, it's definitely evolved over time, because when you're in your 50s...
Doesn't she look fabulous at 50?
So when you're in your 50s, your routine definitely changes from when you were in your 20s. Because when you're in your 20s, you don't have a routine. You're just vibing. You're moving. You know, you're just a bit of cocoa butter on the face, and you're just, you know, dancing about with this lot that I used to dance around with. Rowdy East London lot. Sorry about them. I'm really sorry. But to be honest with you, I say that lightly, I've always been interested in holistically mind, body, soul, always. But I think there wasn't the wellness buzz back then. It wasn't a thing. But now it's kind of, you know, there's a wellness buzz and I'm on it, on steroids, basically. But what I will say is that you can't wait for something to happen before you start implementing your regime. 2 years ago, I had a really bad situation with my back. I've got a cyst in my back and I couldn't walk. I was in hospital twice. So I decided to try and reduce the inflammation and cut out carbs and alcohol and sugar. Sugar is an absolute killer, guys. You need to get your heads around it. I'm serious.
Everyone's like...
No, I'm serious. I know it's hard, but that's where the discipline comes in and the consistency comes in. And then the beauty of that, the beauty of following sort of something with discipline and cutting out all the rubbish is that you look fabulous. And then it's not just the outside, you know, you're going inside and you're doing well for your inside. And as you get older, that's what we need to be doing.
Yeah, amazing. Love that. Round of applause, guys. Stephanie, I'm going to go down the line.
Yeah, so for me, I think wellness has definitely evolved over time, where in my 20s, it was all about mental and emotional health. Because for me, I've suffered with depression for a very, very long time. And so for me, it was always imperative to get my mental health under control. And that was via means of starting therapy, which is the best thing that has ever happened to me, and something that I always recommend for everyone, regardless of if you're okay or not okay. Just having somebody to talk to and to decanter your feelings somewhere external has helped me so much. I started doing things like going for walks and journaling and all of that stuff, and sort of doing things that would help me feel mentally okay. And then I turned 30, and then my bones were just like, hey, things started creaking that never creaked before. I said, you know what, let me start doing some physical wellness. So that was when I really started going to the gym seriously. I started doing like daily walks and all of this stuff, and even doing things like acupuncture and seeing an osteopath and all of these like little things that kind of have been helping me physically feel a lot better. There's something so rewarding about seeing the results of pouring into yourself. And one thing about me, I'm very much a pamper princess. I will buy face mask, like everything that we use to pamper ourselves. I used to feel a lot of guilt about looking after myself as a firstborn daughter. I was very much like, I have to look after everybody else and I have to make sure everyone else is doing good, and I never poured time into myself. But it got to a point where my body was literally mentally, physically, just crashing out and breaking down because I just wasn't pouring into myself. And I decided that at one point I had to start being selfish and putting myself first, even if it's for like a weekend or a day where it was just me. And I could just do stuff that made my body and my mind feel good. So, yeah.
Amazing. Dr. Ya. Thank you. Yeah, round of applause, please, for Stephanie. What's it look like for you currently?
So wellness for me is all about alignment. So it's about the mental, the physical, and the emotional alignment. For me, I'm still in my 20s. I've got 3 months left till I'm 30. For me, at the beginning, it was all about matcha, going to do Pilates, making a vlog, so everyone knows I've done Pilates. But then one thing I realized after going through such a difficult situation 2 years ago is that wellness is the pursuit of intentional and optimal living. It takes activity. To pursue something, it means you need to do. It's about all your daily steps and your actions. And 2 years ago, I had a flare-up of a condition known as PCOS. I was pre-diabetic. I gained 20 kg in a month, which was very hard. Like, life was really hard. But one thing I had to realize was people talk about generational curses, generational habits. It's all about generational mindsets. It's about breaking the notion and the mindset you have around rest. There's this quote that I absolutely love, which talks about how you can only go as fast as your slowest tire. And for so many of us, we are not getting to where we need to be, the optimal well-being and health, because we're not doing the service or the MOT or fixing that tire. And a lot of the time, it's just rest. It's just slow down, park the car in the garage. That's what I've been trying to adopt. I dropped my hours from full-time to part-time. I'm learning to say no. I'm moving my body. I'm journaling. And my health has honestly been the best it's ever been. So I think adopting the mindset of wellness being about rest and intentional living and actually doing the daily actions and steps in order to slow down and pour into myself, that's been wellness for me so far.
Oh, amazing. Love that. And I'm so glad you're feeling better also. Karen, I'm going to go to you next.
So for me, wellness is about a set of tools, not a set of rules. It's about balance. It's about pursuing activities that help you pursue your passion and your purpose. The point of going to the gym is not about the machines, it's about building the strength. So whether it's physical strength or emotional strength, mental strength, it's all about adding in healthy rituals that we can live by every single day. Whether it's me or my clients, I'm not trying to set people up for failure. So it's about having attainable, crucially, and sustainable things you can do every single day. and you incorporate that into your life so that in time it will crowd out the stuff that no longer serves us. I would encourage everybody to find something about themselves that they like and nurture it until they love it. Because we only take care of that which we value, right? So not only in terms of ourselves, but also as a society. So we've got to think very carefully about what it is that we value. And we've got to nurture ourselves. And we often talk about self-care as being selfish. It's actually, I think, if you have a business to run, you have children to bring up, you have partners, friends, parents to look after, it is your job to take care of yourself. And quite often I have super smart women around me that think there's something a little superficial about it. But even if you are an incredibly deep spiritual person, it's our bodies, our exterior, what we see is the packaging of our soul. So I say take care of ourselves. Yeah. Wellness is imperative.
Yeah, amazing. Adeola, moving on to you. What does wellness look like for you right now?
Hi, everyone. So, wellness. Wow, I look so good.
I knew she was already going to make me laugh.
Oh, my goodness. Can you look at my makeup? Wow. Guys, do you know what? That's one part of my wellness, speaking positivity to myself. Even if I have to do that cliche thing of looking in the mirror and saying, you are beautiful, all of that. A second thing I would like to say is I have adopted a mindset shift where it's not a physical or exercise journey, it's a lifestyle change. And that was one thing that sort of helped switch things around for me, because I'm not going to lie, I used to hate going to the gym. Oh my God. Well, I've got to go for the rest of my life.
This is it now.
It was one of them ones. Do you know what I mean? I was like, nah, man, this is long. But I had to turn around and say to myself, look, at the end of the day, if you're going to do this for the rest of your life, you've got to find something that you enjoy, whether that's Pilates, which I hate, by the way. Does anyone else hate Pilates? Why does everyone love it so much these days? Listen, it's hard.
No, but it's good.
It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts. So if you don't like something, if you don't like Pilates, don't go. Go and find something that you actually enjoy. And what I enjoy these days is either weightlifting, but even that sometimes gets a bit boring. So I've tried to incorporate something else as well, which is Muay Thai. Listen, yo. I come out of there. Yeah, I box and I kick and I come out a brand new woman every single session. I love it. But the cardio, the physical strength it takes to get through one of them classes is incredible. And I feel like making them sort of changes to your, lifestyle change is what can help and what makes it a lot more sustainable.
Love
so
that.
Yeah, that's what wellness means to me at the moment.
Love that. Round of applause. Toby, you are, if you think I'm up early, Toby is actually up at like 4 a.m. every day.
I've got 2 kids, so I need to beat the kids, as in get up before them, and that's my time. So for me, I guess wellness is just really practical. Like I say, I've got 2 kids, have been working full time, have different board roles and stuff like that. So for me, it's just about being practical and taking it where you can. I used to be really obsessed about managing my time and fitting everything into this schedule and having time here and time there, and stuff like that is really important, don't get me wrong, but it's also about managing your energy. So what gives you energy, and tap into those things. What drains your energy, start to taper those things off, or notice what drains your energy as much as possible. There's no point in being really ambitious and being really successful if you and yourself, like you said it, if you and yourself are not well. And actually, I love it because my kids in the morning are like, have you been to the gym? I'm like, yes, I have. And they're like, yay, go mummy. So I'm actually raising, hopefully, a household where people understand how it's really important to take care of yourself before you step in the door and look after other people.
Love that. Right, on to the next question, guys. As Black women and women of colour, our experiences with health and wellness are often shaped by culture and access, and even our general habits. What lessons or shifts have helped you take ownership of your wellness journey? Adeola, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, Nana. Drop me right in the deep end, darling. I would say, okay, first of all, growing up in a Nigerian household, it's been tough with these lifestyle changes and, you know, especially when it comes to our diet. Yeah, a lot of our food is cooked very heavily in oil, palm oil to be exact. And, you know, I think sometimes, especially now, like when I look at the way my mum cooks her food, I'm just like, Mum, you can't use that much oil, babe. You can't use that much oil. You need to minimize it a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But honestly, I don't know. I just feel like maybe like taking your recipes and making it into a healthier sort of option, taking out the drastic amount of oil that we use. You can still cook and make like delicious meals from your culture, and it can still bang. Do you know what I mean? That's definitely something I had to learn along the way. What else was the question as well? Sorry.
No, that was generally it. How have you taken ownership of your wellness
just
journey?
limiting the amount of oil first of all, and smaller portions as well. And maybe don't eat pounded jam twice a week, 3 times a week. Maybe just eat it once a month.
Perfect. Love that answer. Karen, I'm going to come to you next.
I think, well, there are some things that are not so helpful, right? For a start, this whole strong black woman thing is not helpful. That comes from both within and beyond the culture. I think that is actually a weakness. But there is, though, a resilience. There is a resilience, there's an extra layer that comes from the experiences that we have all shared that I think we can lean into, that gives a sense of peace and calm that is very positive. And then, of course, there are loads of positive things. I mean, the food is a thing, right? But most of us that are brought up by either first or second generation immigrants, I know we all cooked. Like, we were in the kitchen. I know my Ghanaian mother had us all chopping the onions and stewing the tomatoes for the jollof rice. Said jollof rice, which is incredibly good for the spirit. And if we kind of mix it up a little bit, is also very good for the body. For example, it's really rich in lycopene. The tomatoes have a natural antioxidant that helps support our natural SPF, our natural sun protection. We have our, all the greens we have. We have our plantains that, yes, they're fried and we can eat too many of them, but in moderation, they're really rich in potassium and magnesium. So there is a lot in our culture that is actually very, very healthy, and we can just sort of adapt and balance out a little bit that we should lean into and celebrate.
Amazing. Dr. Yar?
So one of the things I finally recognized is every decision we make is either pro-health or anti-health. And I feel like, especially working in the NHS and being a GP resident, one thing I've realized is we spend so much time trying to cure disease, but the best way to treat disease is to prevent it from happening in the first place. Amen. And for me, I started adopting a preventative mindset. So after my health scare, I was just like, I do not want to be sick again. I don't want to see my GP's face again. I don't want anyone to put needles in me again. So what can I do in order to make sure that I'm healthy? So every day I've got this mindset, which is everything is of equal importance. So brushing my teeth is as important as going to the gym, which is as important as going to work, checking in with a friend, financial wellness. And I think for a lot of individuals, we kind of like compartmentalize and prioritize certain parts of life. So you can go for the career, but if you're not building the muscle, if you're not working on your bone strength, you can be the CEO, but girl, you're not going to be able to stand in those hills for over 5 minutes because your knees are weak. Like, it's all important. Your health sets the foundation to your success. So for me, adopting that principle that, everything's important. I need to go to the gym. If I'm going to show up for my friend, I need to show up for myself first. That's been really, really instrumental. And every decision I make, it's kind of become a habit now because I've practiced it so much, but I want everyone to adopt this. Everything you do, ask yourself, is this pro-health or anti-health? Because the best way to treat disease is to prevent it in the first place.
Amazing. Round of applause for that one. Love that answer. Tobi, I'm going to come to you next. What's the
Ooh.
shift been?
I'm going to say two things. 2 years ago for my birthday, I decided I wasn't going to buy myself a bag. I love bags or anything like that. Actually, I was going to take that money and invest it in like different programs and different ways to get me into the strongest shape of my life that I have ever been. So working with a PT, working with a nutritionist, and I cannot say the difference that it's made to my life. So I say that to say there are so many false fallacies about, oh, you know, weight training makes you look like a man. It doesn't. I do not look like a man, and none of us look like men. If anything, it just makes you really strong. You can still be curvy, you can still be voluptuous and get underneath those weights and build the strength that you talked about in your bones. And as women, we need bone strength. And so strength training is like crucial, I'd say that. Second thing I'd say, go to the doctor. Don't miss your doctor's appointments. Don't put them off because you've got to take a child to here, there, or you've got to cook for your husband, or you've got to do any matter of things that are on your list. Go to your doctor if you feel that there's something wrong, if you have a question. My sister's a doctor, so I feel like I'm channeling her at the moment. Know your body inside out. I'm on the board of Copperfield, and the stats for diagnosis of, let's say, breast cancer among various different races and for black women is really sad. And it's not necessarily because we are genetically more predisposed to things like this. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But it's because we don't necessarily know our bodies, we don't necessarily listen to our bodies, we don't put ourselves first. And so know your body, go to the doctor, talk to people if you feel that there's something wrong. Don't feel that you can just pray it away or just sit on it. So really advocate for yourself and for your health.
Thank you, Tobi. Karen, I'm going to come to you.
So, I mean, everyone's kind of said everything.
Yeah.
I mean, bar the kind, my mum was Irish, so I didn't grow up with palm oil. But
Not a bad thing.
But, you know, absolutely right. I mean, you know, lots of my friends were, you know, African, Caribbean, so I totally get that. I would recommend doing plantain or plantain, however you want to call it. Plantain. You want to say plantain?
Plantain.
Okay.
Plantain.
We're not going to have a fight about it, girls.
We won't start that debate today, guys. But carry on, please.
But what I will say is plantain in the air fryer with a little bit of chili oil and pink Himalayan salt is amazing and
Yes.
a lot more healthy.
Yeah, there we go. Nice new recipe.
But what I will say again is that I think we've been raised in survival, and I'm choosing softness and rest. Because, you know, it can be a lot, and, you know, I can be quite sort of, you know, aggressive. My husband always says, you're so aggressive. So I'm choosing softness and rest, and I think a lot of us were taught to be strong, you know, and I just think strength is a beautiful thing, but it shouldn't come at the cost of joy, you know.
When did that shift for you? Like, when did you think, this is what I'm choosing right now?
I think I've got teenage boys, and it's been a lot, and I've put so much into them that I don't know whether I'm coming or going. And I just think that I'm tired. I'm 51, I can't keep fighting, and I just want to have fun, and dress up and have joy, and just kind of like, yeah, I just need loads of rest.
Yeah, it's fine.
You know what I mean?
Get
I
the
just
rest,
do.
babe.
Anyone else? Life's become a lot, right? It used to be really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Daisy.
I thought
We've
it
got
was going to
you.
calm down, but in this new world that I'm in, these generations that I've now, you know, these new generations that I've come into, it's now gone really kind of like full on. I'm like, what on earth is happening? I need a rest. I need to lay down. I need to chill out. And
Okay.
yeah, but what I will quickly say, because I do go on, that's what happens in menopause. You get a bit other ADHD and all sorts of things start happening. But self-respect comes with goodbyes. So it doesn't matter who in the family, friends, you know, like sometimes you have to let people go.
And that's okay.
You know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Some people you can't bring with you on your journey of life. And I'd say advocate for health and ask questions. And I really ask a question. Choose practitioners who see you.
Yeah. Amazing.
And that's what I'd say.
Thank you, Karen. Stephanie?
Yeah, so I think very similar to what Karen was just saying. I think one thing in my family, I guess, struggle was seen as a badge of honor. Being constantly productive seen as a badge of honor. My mum is one of the strongest people that I know, and I was actually saying in the green room earlier that I treated her to a really cool hotel stay and like all of that kind of stuff, and she took washing with her to iron. And I was like, Mum, just
Not the
relax.
time. Not the
Do you know what I
time.
mean? And so growing up, I've always underestimated how much stress can take a toll on the body. And I think a lot of us sometimes underestimate that, not just from a mental point of view, but from a physical point of view. I found out that I was, like I was saying, I was seeing my osteopath, and I hold so much stress in my back and in my hips specifically. And I think for me, the shift changed when I was diagnosed with depression. I realized that I had to take my mental health seriously. And so I feel like I'm probably the first in my family to start sort of dipping into wellness. And that came with a lot of discourse in my family where people would say that I was being lazy, or I was being soft, or I was being spoiled because I was taking time out for me. And so for me, one of the things that I had to adopt earlier on, even with my own family, is issuing boundaries and saying no to things. And again, being, coming from a Ghanaian household and being a firstborn daughter, we often have a lot of responsibility plied on us. And it had to get to a point where, for the sake of my mental health, I had to start saying no to things. And yes, there is that guilt sometimes that is associated with doing that, especially when your parents are getting older, and then we assume the role of parenting our parents, which is the stage that I'm at the moment. So there's a lot of things where it's like, for the sake of my mental health and for the sake of this stress manifesting itself physically as I get older, I've had to learn how to issue boundaries and to say no, and to just try and allocate more time for me, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So I have to fill my own cup first.
Love that. Amazing. Thank you so much. Last question for you all, ladies. We all know that true wellness goes beyond the physical. It also includes emotional balance, rest, and boundaries, which you just mentioned, Stephanie. What practices and mindsets help you stay centered and well in your everyday life? Do you want to start?
I'll start because mine is very short and simple. I like to build Lego. That's my thing. I am when it comes to Lego, tunnel vision. I can be in a room for like 7-8 hours just building like the adult Lego. I love Connects. I love building flat pack furniture. Anything where I'm like, I have a task to do and I'm building something and watching it come to life. Yeah. I absolutely love it.
That, like tips.
Honestly, no, I will, because I love building things. And so yeah, building Lego for me. And then playing my Nintendo Switch as well. I do love, I'm a bit of a gamer. So anything that has any kind of, that invokes any kind of escapism for me, is that centers me.
Love that. Round of applause for the Lego guys. Karen, I'm going to come to you.
I'm going to be really quick because this I tell you why, because okay, so my ethos, this is a shameless plug, but I believe in it, okay? So my ethos is finding your fabulous. I talked about it last year. I don't know if it's the same audience, so I'm just going to reiterate it. So here's my ingredients for the fabulous cake of Karen, okay? You're going to make your own cake, but this is my ingredients. So a recipe for a woman in her becoming. It's like a poem, really. Base ingredients, the foundation, confidence, the flower that holds it all together. Faith and trust in your journey, your rising agent. Deep inner knowing, the quiet voice that always knew. Softness, because strength without softness is armor, not love. Joy, not optional, essential. Flavor notes, the essence, a spoon of East London grit. a drizzle of elegance with edge. Fashion as expression, not performance. Filling, the richness inside. So discipline, consistency, the thing always brings the flavor through. Hyper focus. Sometimes you need to get serious. self-reflection, the mirror that tells the truth lovingly, boundaries, sweet level, I'm nearly there, sweetness level, joy in the everyday, laughter from the belly, playfulness in the details, toppings, the things the world sees, an effortless blazer moment. You'll know about that. A curated silhouette with every piece says, I chose this. The find your fabulous glow, peace, purpose, style, nearly done. Decoration, your message to the world. Dress the outside, strengthen the inside. Wellness over illness, self-respect over approval. Confidence without apology, joy as a medicine. Best served in community with women who clap when you win and clap louder when you rest.
Guys, round of applause.
Sorry about that.
Karen, that's amazing. Thank you.
Karen, where can we get a copy?
I know, right?
Please.
I know, right? I'm gonna do it as a post, I think.
Yeah,
'cause
you have
it took me a while.
You have to. Yeah. Took you a while. Toby, I'm going to come to you
Oh,
next.
how do you follow that? It's impossible. That's impossible.
Sorry, guys.
I'm going to have all of that, please. And for me, it's alone time. I just feel like so many different things, and my little people who are like 6 and 8, my sister would call me yesterday, literally every 2 seconds, Mum, Mum, Mum. So yeah, for me, it's just precious alone time, preferably in the sun.
Yeah.
On a beach.
Yes, amen to that. Dr. Yah, I'm going to come to you next.
I would say for me is to just breathe, just slow down. In fact, everyone just take a deep breath and then breathe out. Because a few years ago, a very shocking statistic came out, which basically, did I say statistic properly?
Yeah.
Statistic. English is like my third language. Statistic. Basically came out, which said women of color are developing cancer and autoimmune conditions at an alarming rate. And one of the biggest causes for that was chronic stress and emotional suppression. I host an event known as Black Girl Breathe, which is like a space where we use yoga and meditation in order to get people to just breathe and let it all out. That boy, that job, those people, when it costs you your peace, it honestly costs you too much. Like, every time we hold in emotions, your body is storing it, and then that manifests later on as hormonal conditions. The amount of women I see in practice, in my clinic list, every other woman who's a woman of color, I always have to say, I'm sorry, you've got lupus now. I'm sorry, you've got cancer now. I don't want to say I'm sorry anymore. I want to say congratulations. I want to say I'm proud of you. I want to say well done for resting. So for me, it's to rest. I know some people here are probably already thinking about the laundry they have to do, the packing they have to do, the food they have to make. No, just be here, just be present, just let it go. We as Londoners, we rush. Even the way my husband lives in Bracknell, so every time I'm walking with him, he's like, why are you sprinting?
Walking so fast.
Can you just slow down? Like, the only place we're rushing to is our grave, unfortunately. Like, where are we rushing to go? You need to be in this moment. You need to breathe. You need to let it all out. It's cathartic. It's an outlet. If you don't let it out, you're going to store it here, and your body is going to tell you how burnt out and how hurt it is through disease. So please just rest, just breathe, just take that time out to meditate, that alone time. And honestly, you'll just feel fabulous, and your body will thank you for it.
Karen, coming to you.
So I have a morning routine that is absolutely non-negotiable, and it's very, very fast. So the first thing is just a little bit of gratitude, and that doesn't have to be very woohoo. That's about just being present, have some gratitude. And then the next thing is a bit of tapping on the thymus gland, which helps boost your immunity. And if you do want to be woohoo, you can add a little bit of a mantra to it. And then it's a stretch. We're all crunched up, right, overnight, so it's a stretch, like stretch out the heart muscle. And then movement. So I do a series of Pilates based, strength based movements, and I do it every single day. I can't remember the last time I didn't do it, but that's because I only commit to 10 minutes. So who here doesn't have 10 minutes a day? Anybody not have? Everybody has 10 minutes. So movement, do it every day. Then, of course, inflammation. So inflammation is at the root of all dis-ease. And one of the things that causes inflammation is stress. Well, good luck with that, right? We can help manage it. But the other thing is excess refined sugar. Refined sugar It's the glycation it's causing, it's the elastin it's breaking down, it's the collagen it's breaking down. The collagen, which is the scaffolding for the face, right? I'm also in my 50s, I focus on age management. I'm like, forget about fine lines, they're just marks of our humanity. They tell our stories, but we want to try and keep everything up. So reducing the amount of refined sugar in the diet. And often, you know, cake is really so often a metaphor for comfort. What is it that we need instead of the piece of cake? I mean, sometimes you need the piece of cake, right? Sometimes it's so delicious, you must have the piece of cake because it is about consciousness, not restricting. Willpower is an unreliable vehicle, but if we are conscious and we eat consciously, we often need the phone call with the friend, we need the hot bath, we need to light the candles, and we need to walk in nature. We need to get some sky before screen to help set our circadian rhythms, which helps everything from our hormones to our metabolism to our mood. And we absolutely need to dance every single day.
Yeah, why not? Shake a leg. Love that. Thank you. Adeola, last but not least, practicing some mindsets.
So to piggyback off of every single woman on here, do you know what? I'm glad I came last because it really had me. I had something else to say before, but I think I'm just going to totally scrap that. But what I will say is, I moved to Manchester I'm basically an Essex girl, but I moved to Manchester about.
Yay, big enough for Essex.
Essex girl, yes, period. So I moved to Manchester about 3.5 years ago, and looking back in hindsight, I was miserable when I lived in Essex. I love it now, don't get me wrong, but that was comfort. I wasn't growing in that environment. Do you know what I mean? And once I stepped out of that environment and I went out on my own, I lived on my own, and I realised I wake up every day in peace and serenity.
Yes, amen.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I wake up and I can have my routine. I don't have anyone to answer to. If I don't want to pick up my phone, I don't pick up my phone. Like Stephanie, I'm a firstborn Nigerian daughter.
Snap.
And with that, it's heavy, do you know what I mean? But I took that conscious effort to be selfish for once in my life, and I took myself out of that chaos. Beautiful chaos, but still chaos, you know? And I went to make a life for myself elsewhere, and I can't tell you what good it has done for me and my life. Obviously, all thanks to God.
Yeah.
But if I didn't take myself out, I don't know where I would be now. I don't think I'd even be sitting on this stage. You know, and it's crazy what taking yourself out of this comfort zone or this, you know, beautiful chaos can actually do for your life. I mean, it's done absolute wonders for me, and I can't thank, you know, my support system enough, even though that's what I was trying to escape at the time. But looking back now, I think I just had to do that for myself, and I just had to be selfish at that time. Now I'm in a better off financial position, emotional position, physical position to help anyone around me. And this is probably the most serious you're ever going to catch me, by the way, guys. But honestly, taking that time and looking after yourself is imperative. It is imperative. Be selfish if you need to, because at the end of the day, I can't remember who said it on the stage, but you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to fill that cup up first, and then go to everyone else.
That's it. Amazing. Guys, massive round of applause for our incredible, incredible panel. We are going to throw it to the floor now. If anyone has a question for anyone along here, please can you hold up your hands? Okay, we've got one down here. Number 3.
Hi to all of you. I'm mainly a follower of Karen Williams and Tobi Asare. So I was a little bit disheartened when I heard Karen say that as a mother of teenage boys that it's still exhausting because I have a 6-year-old and I'm looking forward to him being a teenager so I could rest. So I have 2 questions that maybe either one of you could answer or anyone in the panel. We've touched upon rest quite a lot. I'm also a firstborn daughter and also a mom to a little boy. And I watch especially Tobi, who juggles a corporate career, authorship, content creation, the whole works, and then 4 a.m. every day working out. How do you manage to get and have energy every day? And when you do rest, since all of you have mentioned rest, have any of you at any point felt inner guilt? Yes, we can say, you know what, I am going to take the time, and I do, but my mind isn't completely shut down because I feel guilty for resting. So anyone
Toby, I'm
the
going to
panel
throw that
could
to you
answer.
first.
Thank you.
I don't ever feel guilty for resting. I don't know if it's simple, because I think the moments where I parent, when I'm exhausted, it's horrific. Like, I hate it, and my children hate me if I'm parenting from a place where I literally just feel like I've got nothing to give them. So I feel like I never feel guilty for resting. I just do it. I know it's good for them. My children are a little bit older now, so I will give them an iPad, and I will say, Mommy's going to have a nap. And they understand that I'm going to have a nap. So I fuel my day with like micro moments of nap, and then I do definitely get some rest, even though I wake up really, really early. I try to go to bed really, really early. So yeah, I never ever feel guilty, and I don't think anyone should ever feel guilty for resting, because working from a tired place is it just doesn't make any sense to me. And the people that are making you feel guilty for resting, I'd also say they're not your people, if anyone is, making you guilty for taking any rest.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah, of course.
So the thing is with guilt, one thing I've learned in life is that you actually need to be audacious. The people that want your time, that want your energy, they have no shame when they're asking you for it. So you need to also be unapologetic when you're claiming back that rest. I think at the end of the day, you can't be an efficient mom, a loving partner, a friend, or like a daughter if you're not doing it out of a place of abundance. And it's in that rest time that you refill your cup. So we need to change our mindset from rest to see it as like imperative for our survival. It's like you refueling your car in order for you to start that long journey of parenting. So just be audacious, and be intentional about your rest. In the same way that people will unapologetically come to ask for your attention, your son will be like, Mommy, I need food. You need to be like, son, I need rest, and be audacious about it.
Amazing, thank you. We had anyone else for questions? I feel like I saw number 2 here, please.
Thank you for the panel. I thought it was great to hear people talking about their wellness, especially in different stages of life. I'm building a skincare/wellness brand for mothers, and I have 3 children, and my maternal journey was linked to my mental health. So I just wanted to ask, some of you are mothers, some of you are not. Even as firstborn daughters, there's a similar burden. How do you claim that identity? When we show up and we talk about rest and we talk about wanting to have joy, I feel like that's often separated from our care and responsibilities. I found it really hard to reconcile my identity as a mother and as someone that has wellness and someone that does fun things. So I wondered how you reconcile those things and kind of bring your different hats and identities together.
Okay. I'm going to give it to both the Karens, because you're...
Yeah, I mean...
Start.
Sorry?
Either one of you
start.
start.
To be honest, I just think you have to have a real sense of self. You've just got to not let go of that. And that is what Finding Your Fabulous is about. It's, when you have children and you're being pulled in all different directions, and a husband and all the rest of it, you can kind of lose yourself. And I think it is going back to where you find joy, because where you find joy is where you'll find yourself again. I would say, just do you. And also, people don't, going a bit, that question you were asking about sort of, I can't remember, but anyway, but I just think people are not paying your mortgage. So you just kind of have to be selfish and just do you,
Amazing. Karen?
Yeah, I would say to your point about being a mother and juggling that and building a brand, I built a skincare brand that was based on the fact that I had terrible, terrible eczema when I was a kid. And so I really leaned into that. And in fact, I remember the voice of a young boy who was teasing me. Skin is a thing, right? 1970s, 1980s Britain, being brought up in the countryside. So skin was already a thing, and then my skin was terrible. And I now have a brand that is all about intentional body care that I would never have started if I hadn't had the experience of having had really bad skin. So I would say just integrate some of your experiences as a mother and some of those challenges into your brand. And so it's all of who you are.
Amazing. Love that. Thank you. I've got another question over here, number 1.
Hello. My name is Shanice, and I have autism and ADHD. So I find advocating for myself in even an event as fabulous as this is, to speak about adjustments that I need, that I feel comfortable, is very difficult. And I find that also difficult in like a healthcare setting. Do you have any steps or like tips about advocating for yourself in terms of like your health and well-being in like professional settings that you're taking seriously? Because it's obviously I have clear like communication needs because of my neurodiversity, but also as a Black woman, I felt that sometimes when I go to my GP or whoever, I feel like I'm not taking very seriously about what I need. Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Yar, I'm going to come to you, obviously.
I knew
away.
this question was coming.
Oh.
First of all, you articulated yourself very beautifully.
Yes.
That was amazing. Round of applause. So good. I would say when it comes to GPs, I know I'm a GP resident, I think self-advocacy is so important, and the way in which you just articulated yourself, I think when people go to their GP, you need to recognize that you're the expert in the room. Even though I've been to medical school for 6 years, I've been a doctor for 8 years, you're the expert of your body. And I think you need to find your best mode of communication. So for some patients, they record what's going on. Some patients bring what's going on to show me. As much as I don't want to see it, I've seen all sorts, worms, you name it. They bring it and show it. And then some people actually write it down. If you find writing down a lot easier, when your GP is like, okay, you tell me what's wrong, things that I always tell people is let us know when it started, anything that's associated with it, how long it's been going on for, and what you want me to do about it. Because a lot of the times, there's something we learn as GPs called ICE, ideas, concerns, and ideas, concerns, and expectations. We need to ensure that we are addressing each of it. So if you say, hi, Mame, I think that I've got, I don't know, thrush, for instance. These are the reasons why, and you've listed it down. I mean, I've got itchy, it's all itchy, I've got discharge. I really want you to test for it. Any reasonable doctor will be able to take you a lot seriously. And also, a lot of people forget this, but you can actually question your doctor. If you ask your doctor for a scan and they say no, say why. What is your rationale? Are you confident enough that you don't know that this is a fibroid? The only way you're going to be able to diagnose this fibroid is if you do an ultrasound scan. If your GP could then look you in the eye and say, oh, I'm confident, you'll see them in court because the judge will look at them and say, actually, no. First-line investigation for fibroids is a transvaginal ultrasound scan. So you also need to be bold and audacious in challenging and questioning why you're being refused a certain investigation. And the third thing is, if you go to one KFC branch and the wings are dead, are you going to give up going to KFC, or are you going to try another? You're going to try another branch, right? You have a right, especially when you speak to reception, to ask for a second opinion and to see another doctor. You can also say, I feel like you're not taking my needs seriously. I'm concerned about my health. I would like a second opinion. And it's actually written in our NICE guidelines for them to refer you to see a specialist or to see another doctor. If you don't do any of this, some people will not take you seriously, unfortunately. I know the healthcare system is very difficult and no one's getting appointments, but when you do get the appointments, when you see your doctors, I need you to advocate for yourself. Write it down, record it, question them, let them know that you know your rights. Use the NHS website, print it out even. It says here, I think I've got endometriosis, therefore I need an MRI, therefore I need a gynecologist. Let them know that you know what you deserve, and any GP will give that to you.
Brilliant. Any more questions? Oh, number 3. Here we go.
Hi, I just wanted to add that I've been told that one of the things that you should say if you go to GP is that your health is deteriorating and your quality of life isn't as good, and then that way, and you're in pain, and then that should try and help them to kind of help you out.
Agreed. For something to be a disease or disorder, it needs to affect your day-to-day life. So if someone's got a large bust and you've got back pain and it's affecting you, you deserve to be seen by a breast surgeon in order to be like counseled, or, you know, the NHS can potentially pay for breast reduction surgery. So these are all things that you can fight for because it's something, you pay taxes, so you fund us as the NHS. So fight for your taxes, fight for your money, and fight for your rights as well.
Amazing. Thank you. Number 3 again.
Hi, my name is Remy. I think most of you have mentioned being like first or second generation. I grew up with a mother that very much told me and everyone else in the family that my child will not be part of this cycle. But I still feel quite a bit of like stress. I feel like most of my future plans kind of revolve around my parents getting older. I am in the sort of the parenting phase and I'm not even 30 yet. So kind of like tips on how to break that cycle, if any of you have done it.
Stephanie, were you saying that you had broken that cycle?
I'm trying. I'm still trying to break that cycle. Yeah, I'm in that stage where it feels like I am having to parent my parents at the moment, and it's one of those situations where one of them I'm parenting logistically in terms of whether it's doing, you know, their life admin for them because they don't really, when it comes to computers, they're not the best, and then one is an emotional one because, you know, with my other parent, they weren't taught to express themselves. You know, a lot of Africans, we have, or our older generations have this thing where it's like, you don't talk about mental health, you know, you keep quiet and carry on kind of thing. And so it's gotten to a point where one of them, you know, they have so much untreated trauma that now that they're older, it's coming out, and sometimes it gets put onto us, and so we have to be the fixers, and then we have to have the responsibility of trying to parent our parents and educate them as well on things that they may not or may be a bit more ignorant about. And so for me, it's very, very difficult because there is that inherent guilt that you can sometimes get if your parents are asking you for something, and then they might make you feel guilty, they might try and manipulate you, you know, all of these, like emotional manipulation is such a huge thing, I think, sometimes with households. It was just, for me, I think, just getting the strength to say no and to give reasons why I'm saying no. So for me, I couldn't just say, no, I'm not doing that. I had to kind of like ease it in by saying, I can't do this because, you know, I'm working or I'm doing this for half a day. I can get back to you later, kind of thing. So it was a thing where, you know, you don't want to kind of toe the line and come across as disrespectful. So it was a case of me just beginning to issue boundaries and learning how to say no, but more importantly, providing explanations as to why I can't do said thing for them. And the first few times that you do it, there will be that inherent guilt, because sometimes parents have a way of making you feel like, you know, well, I raised you for this many years and and how can, but at the end of the day, they're raising you to be your own person and to have your own life. And this is your time now to figure out what you want to do and kind of think about the way you want to map your life out to be. And any parent that has done a great job of raising you would want you to fulfill that. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where if it takes having to have that serious conversation with your parents to be like, hey, I'm trying to, I don't know, save for a house, or I'm trying to have a family or something. I need to have this time in my 20s and 30s for me. Your parents should try and understand that. And if they don't, it might be a case of protecting your peace and maybe backing up just a little bit when it comes to them. At some point, they will understand. They might be a bit like weird about it, but they have to understand that your life is for you. The reason that they came to this country and they work so hard is because they want their children to have a better life. Well, this is the better life that you're having. So they can't then turn around and make you feel guilty for that. Do you know what I mean? So laying down boundaries is a huge one.
Can I add to this as
Yeah,
well?
go for it, Adeola.
Do you know what? There was something that I had to tell myself. You know, your parents are actually not your responsibility. I know that sounds really harsh. I know. I had to tell myself that for a while, and for a lot of the times when I was growing up, I wasn't the favourite child. Now, I reckon I am. Not gonna lie, I reckon I am now. However, you have to put these boundaries in place in order to actually you know, in the future make better choices for them. Do you know what I mean? So I think, you know, you say no this one time, they'll get over it eventually. They'll get over it, man.
They will.
Yeah, they'll survive. Like they survived and thrived before you. They'll be just fine. Yeah. So yeah, put yourself first, babe. Honestly,
Thank you
you'll
so
thank
much
yourself
for
for
that
it.
question, and both of your answers
Yeah.
were brilliant as well. I hope that helped. Any other questions? Oh, we've got one here, number 2.
Hiya.
Hello.
Thank you all so much for your responses. This is kind of backtracking a little bit. But as a medical student, I was just wondering, obviously we follow guidelines, and the research into women's health, especially when Black women's health, is very poor. So how do you balance following the guidelines versus also being a patient advocate? Because, you know, their symptoms are very real to them. But the guidelines, they might not meet certain criteria. So I just wondered how I could best serve my patients, if that makes sense.
I think the fact that you're already asking that question shows that you're going to be an amazing advocate for your patients. So thank you. That's really good. I think when it comes to like medicine and being a doctor, it's just you always try and rule out the worst thing. And if you don't have the sufficient tools or resources in order to do so, there's always a specialist out there. No one's going to send you a sassy email and be like, why did you refer this lady to us? Actually, a lot of the times it's the patient that we didn't think anything was going to be wrong with that actually end up having the conditions. So I think as long as you, as I said, individuals are experts in their own body. If someone is suffering, believe they're suffering and refer them to the appropriate channels. If someone gives you a hard time about it, I always bring up court. My mum always said I should have been a judge, but I'm just like, will you be comfortable if a judge stood there and said, why didn't you refer this patient? Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of the times we play with chance and we play with people. We see them as patients, but that's someone's mother, that's someone's sister, that's someone's daughter. So if someone is hurting, believe that they're hurting and refer them to a specialist and advocate and fight for them. You've been put in this position, not only because you're smart and beautiful, but because you're intelligent enough and educated enough in order to be the voice for the voiceless. So continue to use that voice. And trust me, in the future, it's going to be women like you that change the face of medicine forever. So if the research is not there, girl, hit me up. Let's go research it ourselves and then advocate and fight for these ladies.
I love that. Any more questions, guys? We've got a little bit more time. Any hands up? No? No, you did not. Guys. Oh, okay. One. Here, who's got a number? Number 2? Can you? I think you're the closest. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole.
Hi,
It was an
Nicole.
amazing panel. It was really amazing listening to all you ladies. I'm a very practical person. So this is just for the practical girlies out there. And I just wondered if you could share some practical things that you do to, one, implement rest and also to implement boundaries, especially when you are in a caring role. So I think whether you're a parent, whether you're caring for a parent, it's very difficult just to kind of implement that. So it'd just be great to hear some practical tips that we could take away.
Cool. I feel like everyone can answer this one. Tobi, do you want to start?
Weekly planning. So I have this thing, and if you just Google Stephen Covey's 7 Habits weekly planner, on one side you can literally write down what your goals are for that week. So that goal might be rest, it might be movement, it might be work, it might be cooking, for example. And then you can literally allocate your time according to that goal. The really great thing about it is that you can see what you don't have time for. So you can very quickly see, actually, I don't have time to engage in this nonsense this particular week, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to ring fence that time to make sure I've got time to do the things that are a priority. So I highly recommend weekly planning.
Okay. Adeola?
Oh, what's that thing called again? Delayed gratification. I think practicing delayed gratification for me has really helped. So if I want to watch this K-drama tonight, I need to make sure I've done this, and this. And then, yeah, when I'm even watching a K-drama, I'm like, yeah, I deserve this, you know?
You've done the work to get there.
Yeah, I've done the work. So I think practicing delayed gratification.
Amazing. Karen?
I think improving your sleep hygiene. I'd love everybody to really own the very first and the very last hours of their lives. So that means, I mean, first of all, who has an alarm clock? Who wakes up with an alarm clock? Okay, and who typically wakes up before their alarm clock? Okay, so that means that 95% of you don't need an alarm clock for 95% of the time. So you have this alarm clock, your cortisol, your stress hormone goes crazy, and before you've figured out what's going on the other side of the Atlantic, what your friends, your partner, your kids are doing, you're already stressed, you're waking up with stress. So unless you need to catch a plane or have a particularly early morning meeting or something really urgent, don't set an alarm clock. And then don't have your phone, obviously don't have your phone in the bedroom. Don't have your phone in the bedroom, don't have it on unless you have very tiny children that are not with either a parent or a grandparent. There's no reason to have your phone on. You're not going to be able to solve any problems in the middle of the night. So really own the first and the last hours of your life. Make sure that your sleep temperature is just slightly down on your regular temperature. Everything is dark. And then just do some relaxing, like, you know, I love to listen to some jazz, some Miles Davis kind of blue in the evening, read a book, put the Netflix away, and just really, really own that time.
Amazing, thank you. Dr. Yar?
There's this concept I follow, which is like, eat the frog. I mean, no one should actually eat frogs, but it just means like, do the hardest thing first. And for a lot of people, if the hardest thing is rest, make sure it's scheduled first thing in the morning. It just means that you're maybe waking up 20 minutes earlier or 30 minutes earlier in order to just go on a walk, listen to music, listen to lo-fi, and just calm your body down. And if you actually like practically structure each part of your day, seeing everything as equally important. So resting, as I said, is as important as going to work, is as important as checking my emails. You will then be able to get into a good habit and like a practical routine in order to schedule that in.
Amazing. Stephanie, we'll finish. You're fine.
Oh, okay. I would just say that I'm very type A, so I program my resting time or anything non-work into my calendar. So like my Google Calendar, my work calendar, I will actually write in there, I'm going to be napping from this time to this time, because it places a level of the same level of importance as my work. And sometimes I like to romanticize going to sleep, because I'm very, I used to have really bad sleep patterns, and so what I'll do is having blackout curtains has been a game changer. So having the room totally pitch black, and again having the temperature quite low as well helps me get to sleep. Lighting a bit of a candle, like a lavender candle, that can make you very drowsy. Putting some music on or some white noise, something like that. Just just having it be very aesthetically pleasing.
Lovely.
And then just knock me out.
Amazing. Karen, really
And
quickly.
I think just master the art of saying no. That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And on that note, we have come to the end of our lovely wellness panel. Please give our panelists a massive round of applause. Thank you guys for such insightful answers. You've honestly been amazing. And thank you, ladies, as well for joining us.
And thank you, Nana. Can we give it up for Nana? Our magical moderator and my favourite early bird. I hope that filled you up. It certainly did me. Thank you so much for the wisdom, for so much insight to help us really take charge of our well-being, advocate for ourselves. I'm very inspired.